ask you a simple question. If, some people would say, well, you should be doing social media marketing. What have you thought about that?
We are looking at that. We just did a little project with Google to try to get our name in some key categories that people may pull up when they're thinking about researching power. So we are putting our toe in the water, trying to determine what works. But you're exactly right. I think we were very keyed into the social media from the word of mouth campaign. I mean, we're a firm believer that the future of advertising is the social media, and so we are trying to pick and choose. Like I said before, I'm just a CPA, so I want to make sure I get a good return on my money. But we did test the market. We've got some research. Quite honestly, we probably could have gotten some better information, but we learned from our mistake. But it's something that was well worthwhile. It was cost effective, and we'll probably do a little bit bigger project with them. We have some people here that are on Facebook that we are looking at Twitter. We've got a group that is studying that. We're actually hiring a more senior marketing person, and we're looking for a senior person that I'll call is youthful, because I'm an old person and I don't know a whole lot about Google other than their stock price goes crazy. But I'm looking for some, maybe somebody that, just got out of MBA school, had 4 or 5 years of marketing experience with a major company, but is probably more attuned to social media than the bunch of old CPAs. And so we are spending a lot of effort on that.
And I find this very valuable conversation because, I really like when you said I'm just a CPA. Most CEOs would not say that, but the truth is, if you know really what your strong points are, what your weaknesses are, which you clearly demonstrated in our conversation that you are not only aware but actively aware of that, and you know what to focus on, what will work, what will not work, and then take slower steps towards the new trends as well. But never go beyond what you know truly well to work. Not take uneducated, unestimated risks, which is to some extent the style Warren Buffett takes. Is like, I'm not going to get into things that I don't understand. I know I will succeed in what I understand, but I'm not going to jump up and down with the .com or with the new age stuff. So this is truly interesting.
Yeah, I'm a big follower of Mr. Buffett. In fact, the lady that used to work for me wrote the book on him that just came out about 1.5 years ago. She worked for me for 4 years, and yes, Alice Davy Schroeder. And so I took great interest in the book, obviously, since she had a big part of it. And a lot of what Mr. Buffett does makes perfect sense. It's all the discipline. And so, we're probably the only rep in Texas that is excited about what happened today, because we live for the turmoil, and because we're conservative. And then we try to keep some dry powder, and when negative things happen, it's a good time. It's a good opportunity to make some moves, and that's what we hope to do over the next month or so. If we can just get another 24 hours or so of this turmoil. But I want to digress a second and tell a story which I think will kind of follow up what you said. I was basically a CPA, did some merger and acquisition work, sports consulting, and did audits. And when I took my first job in the real world, I was the CFO of a company that had a great idea. The chairman was very smart, and I came in as a kind of a rambunctious guy. They didn't have a lot of controls, and so my job was to get the accounting and finance area up to speed with the sales and marketing part of the company. And so this company at the time was not making any money, so I was focused on cost reduction. And we had a senior VP of sales and marketing, kind of an industry guru, very well known. He'd come to work for this company about 1 year before. And so one of my first weeks at work, he sent through an expense report. And I looked at it and I go, my God, what is this? And he spent several $1,000s. I'm going, so I, didn't sign off on it, sent it back to my secretary. I said, take it back to Bill and tell him this is unacceptable. So Bill comes down to my office and he goes, Bob, tell me your background. So I told him I'm a CPA, finance, MBA. He goes, you ever done any sales calls? And I go, no, I haven't never done a sales call. So we were in the travel business, so it was easy to get airline tickets. Okay, next week you're going to travel around with me and you're going to see what I go through. So he took me to some good customers. He took me to some customers that he was trying to get, and he took me to some people that, quite honestly, I knew didn't like him. And so we spent a week on the road, and on the flight home, I go, I'm never going to kick out another one of your expense reports. I've never been through anything like this in my life. I mean, finance, and when you talk to investment bankers or private equity, everybody's generally nice to you. I mean, we were at places where, they were yelling at him, screaming at him. One place wouldn't even let him get past the secretary. And this is a senior guy in the industry. I'm going, I've never gone through anything like this. I said, whatever you want to spend it. I said, I can't do what you do. And that kind of told me that I should stick to what my strengths are and let somebody like Bill deal with driving sales. And we kind of carried that on through this company even.
And this is a great segue and a very good story to let people who know what they're doing do their job. But this takes you to the next question, which is, how do you know whom to hire? Because clearly you know what you know and you don't need anyone else. Well, when you need another individual to handle an aspect of the business which you don't know about, and therefore it becomes imperative that you engage with someone who really knows and can do his job, and you can trust that person that he or she is going to do his job or her job. What's been your experience with that?
That's a great question, and that's we struggle with that every day. That's where my wife and I spend most of our time, is making sure that we have the right people in place. And as companies grow, of the original 6 people that we have here, there's my wife and myself are still here, and then our head, the guy that runs our supply area, our hedging area, is still here. We've had turnover in the finance area, in the operations area, in the customer service area, and people have different skill sets, and they're good at one level, and then you have to bring in new people at the next level. And Marcy and I kid ourselves, when are we no longer going to be the right people here? Because you always have, our goal is to keep growing. At some point, we'll outgrow our usefulness too. And so that's something we spend a lot of time on. How do we get it right? We always go back to our culture. And we have a culture where we try to treat everybody as family. And so when we interview people, that's probably the biggest reason. There's a lot of smart people. We try to fill people that we feel comfortable with, that our employees, that our current employees will feel comfortable with. And it's just like, how do you pick your friends? I mean, that's what we do when we hire our people, is we try to pick new friends. And sometimes you're wrong, and if you're wrong, then you have to have a parting of the ways, because it's not working out for them either.